In 2018, Lucas Reed sold a 5-acre plot on the edge of Pine Hollow, a sleepy rural town that was little more than a gas station and a diner back then. Lucas, a 32-year-old carpenter with a quiet life, had inherited the land from his grandfather, who'd used it for hunting. The sale was straightforward $20,000 to a developer. All papers signed, taxes paid, and a clean break. Lucas moved on, building custom furniture in a nearby city, his days filled with sawdust and steady work. The land was a distant memory until a letter arrived in the fall of 2025, threatening to upend his world. The letter came from the Pine Hollow Homeowners Association, a group Lucas had never heard of. It claimed he owed $12,000 in back dues for the plot he'd sold 7 years ago, plus interest and maintenance fees for a neighborhood that didn't exist when he owned the land. Worse, it warned that failure to pay would result in a lien on the property, which the HOA insisted he still legally controlled. Lucas reread the letter, his coffee going cold. It was nonsense. He'd sold the land, deed transferred, notarized, done. But the HOA's tone was aggressive, their legal jargon sharp. They meant business. Lucas called the number on the letter. A woman named Karen Vance answered, her voice syrupy but edged with authority. Karen, the HOA president, claimed the developer never properly transferred the deed, leaving Lucas liable for dues when Pine Hollow's new gated community sprang up in 2023. Our records show you as the owner, she said. Pay up, or we'll take the land. Lucas hung up, pulse racing. He dug through old files, finding the sale contract, deed transfer, and a surveyor's map. Everything was in order. This wasn't a mistake, it was a shakedown. Pine Hollow had changed since 2018. The developer had turned Lucas's scrubby plot in surrounding land into Pine Hollow Estates, a sprawl of cookie-cutter houses for commuters. The HOA, led by Karen, was notorious, its rules suffocating no unapproved mailboxes, no fences over 4 feet, fines for unmowed lawns. Locals called Karen the Queen of Pine Hollow, her influence reaching City Hall through friends on the planning board. Lucas learned this from an old high school buddy, Nate, who still lived nearby. She's ruthless, Nate said. Sued a guy for planting roses without permission. Lucas hired a lawyer, a no-frills woman named Diane who'd seen her share of HOA scams. Diane confirmed his sale was airtight. County records listed the developer as the owner since 2018. The HOA's claim hinged on a clerical error, a duplicate deed, never canceled, lingering in the system. It's a loophole they're exploiting, Diane said. They're betting you'll pay to avoid a fight. Lucas wasn't paying a dime. That land wasn't his, and the dues were a fiction. The HOA didn't back down. Karen filed a lien on the plot, sending Lucas a notice that delinquent owners faced foreclosure. She plastered his name on the HOA's website, labeling him a deadbeat who neglected community standards. Pine Hollow's residents fed Karen's narrative, gossiped on Nextdoor about the outsider dodging his debts. Lucas, who'd never set foot in their gated utopia, felt the sting of a reputation he didn't deserve. He drove to Pine Hollow, confronting Karen at an HOA meeting in the community center. The room was packed, her allies glaring, but Lucas held his ground. I sold that land years ago, he said, showing his documents. You're lying to these people. Karen smirked, claiming legal complexities and ushering him out. The crowd murmured, divided. Diane escalated the fight, filing a countersuit to clear Lucas's name and dissolve the lien. She uncovered dirt on Karen. The HOA had a pattern of targeting former landowners, exploiting old deeds to extort cash. 2 others had paid thousands to avoid court. Karen's brother-in-law, a county clerk, had overlooked deed cancellations, creating the loopholes. Diane subpoenaed records, proving the HOA's fees were inflated, funneled into Karen's pet projects, a clubhouse, a fountain, her own landscaping. Lucas's case wasn't just personal. It was a crack in Karen's empire. The neighborhood split. Some residents, tired of Karen's tyranny, slipped Lucas tips about her tactics. Others, loyal to her vision of perfect Pine Hollow, egged his truck when he visited Diane's office. X posts exploded, some calling Lucas a victim, others branding him a scammer dodging fair dues. A local reporter picked up the story, headlining it, HOA's land, grab one man's fight. Lucas hated the spotlight but saw its use. Pressure was mounting on Karen. The trial hit in December, a tense affair in a county courthouse packed with Pine Hollow's residents. Lucas sat beside Diane, his sale documents spread before him. Karen, in a tailored blazer, played the victim, claiming Lucas's negligence burdened the HOA with unpaid upkeep. Her lawyer flashed blurry records, leaning on the duplicate deed. Diane dismantled their case, presenting the 2018 sale, county filings, and Karen's brother-in-law's shady paperwork. She called Nate, who testified about Karen's strong-arming, and a former HOA treasurer who admitted fees were arbitrarily set. Lucas took the stand, voice calm but firm. "I sold that land fair and square. She's stealing from me and lying to you all." The courtroom crackled. Outside, a crowd gathered, some waving signs reading "Free Lucas," others chanting for HOA rights. A fistfight broke out between neighbors, stopped by deputies. Lucas watched from the courthouse steps, the weight of the fight sinking in. This wasn't just about him, it was about a community poisoned by greed. The judge ruled in Lucas's favor, calling the HOA's claims fraudulent and the lien baseless. The duplicate deed was voided, Lucas's record cleared, and Karen was ordered to pay $15,000 in damages and legal fees. Her brother-in-law faced an ethics probe, and the HOA board, humiliated, voted her out. Karen vowed to appeal, but her allies scattered, her grip on Pine Hollow broken. The reporter's story went viral, ex-users hailing Lucas as a folk hero. Pine Hollow didn't heal easily. Some residents thanked Lucas, others blamed him for stirring trouble. Karen's house hit the market, her name a punchline. Lucas returned to his workshop, the fight lingering in his calloused hands. He didn't want fame, just peace. That spring, he drove to Pine Hollow one last time, passing the old plot, now just another manicured lawn. It wasn't his anymore, and it never would be again. The end, sir.